hello there and welcome back to the Careering Podcast with me, Melissa Davies, and my ever fabulous co-host, Kelsey Ingalls. Hola, Kelsey.
Why was that so creepy?
I don't know.
It was really like, oh, welcome back.
I think it's because 2 seconds before, Caleb was doing ASMR into the microphone and I was doing my late night radio host voice. So I apologise.
I was just like, I feel like the theme of this podcast has changed and I haven't been told about it.
Surprise.
Surprise.
I feel like we're like writing like weird audio books. Okay.
We could.
Hi, Caleb.
Kia ora. How are you guys today? How are we feeling?
Kelsey's feeling creeped out.
Yeah, I'm feeling weird now. I feel strange. No, I'm good. I'm just vibing, drinking my sparkly water and living my best life.
I wonder why your Frank Green went psh.
Yeah, because I filled it full of Soda Stream. Fuck, I love a Soda Stream, man. I don't know what I did
It's
before.
different.
Yeah, it does. And I know you don't like it because you don't like drinking the tap water because you can taste the difference, but I can't taste the difference. And I
can't taste the difference if I sparkle it.
yeah, just everything is better when it's sparkling.
I concur.
So true.
Yeah. Anyway, that's my vibe today. I've
Your
really
vibe
come
is
out the gate.
sparkling. Yes. What's your vibe today?
My vibe is so the opposite of that, which is I am just vibing silence. Absolute, utter silence.
You don't like when your drink bottle goes
Or your nephew does ASMR.
Guys, welcome back to the Careering Podcast.
Yeah, no, please don't.
Yeah, so I like none of that.
None of it.
I'm all about the silence at the moment. I've realised how, and I think it's probably from Q, the humble brag about going on holiday, being on holiday and whitewater rafting through the Grand Canyon, which was magical.
Was it silent?
Absolutely. Like there was, because you're absolutely in the middle of nowhere, no cell reception. So like
I would have thought that like the river would
it'd be
have
so
made
noisy,
noise.
yeah.
or-
depending on where we would camp. So if we were camping near a rapid, you would absolutely hear the river.
Yeah.
But it's a very long river. And while there are hundreds of rapids, there are sections where we would camp that you would just
flat.
And so maybe, you might hear the wind and a little bit of sort of river flowing. But other than that, no people talking at you, no phones beeping at you, just absolute silence. And I love it. I'm so into it. So even coming back home, I have found myself more often, instead of being at home listening to a podcast or having music playing, I just like the silence. So that's my vibe.
Love that.
So yeah, very opposite of. Thank you, Kayla, for your soda stream sound.
thank you.
10 out of 10.
Appreciate that. I'm like, I would love to, but my brain would just be like, the intrusive thoughts would just be like
Out the gate.
intense. Like I have to have something playing so I can think.
Yeah.
What did you call that? You had the technical term for that when we were talking about someone who needed noise in the background. You're helping diagnose someone's kid. What was that? You had
Dr. Kelsey,
Shadowing?
PhD in TikTok
it was
psychology.
it was Locke's kid.
Yeah, so we were talking about ADHD and we were talking about how you need to body double.
Yeah.
And so often what I have figured out that a productivity hack for myself is that I will get things done if there is someone else around me also working. And so the reason I often work in the office is because there is someone else there that can hold me accountable to doing my thing and I feel more comfortable doing it. Or if I have to do like laundry or chores at home or whatever, I will call someone and I will have them on the phone and they can just talk at me, but it's got something happening in my brain so
Yeah.
I can do the thing that I'm supposed to be doing. Yeah. So body doubling.
Yeah.
So Caleb's perplexed. He's looking at cows with eyebrows furrowed like,
Honestly, most people look at me like that.
My vibe is the opposite of yours. I'm into the musical Kinky Boots and the flashing lights, the high heels stomping around.
Just like all of the colour and all of the noise.
It was-
hashtag diversity.
It was a great show.
Kinky Boots is such a vibe for you though, like, but we've been to a few musicals now and you totally vibe a musical, and even movies you vibe a musical movie.
Yeah.
What is it about it that you like?
I think it's just like always been alive. Always been alive. I will say that. It's so cliche, but I love a happy ending. So this week we are talking about things we've learned, which I think is a really interesting topic.
I don't learn.
Great start.
I make mistakes and then I do them again.
Welcome to my human design profile as a 6-3 manifestor, which is all about learning through fucking things up.
We need to do a human design episode,
Yeah,
I
we do.
reckon, and just woo-woo the shit out of everybody.
Yeah, we do.
You've got no choice.
No.
Anyway, things that we've learned. Sorry, I derailed it. I do it all the time.
I've learned that Kelsey's really good at derailing.
I try and bring it back. Sometimes I get sidetracked. It's a side quest. It's fine.
What I have learned this year, my big thing was around, and it's something I've known but maybe haven't put into practice as much as I would like, which is when you have a direction you want to move in or a goal you want to achieve, getting that sort of advisory board around you of people that have shifted themselves through those similar experiences and how that's so valuable, which might be different to the people that you would normally lean on for support or advice or sounding boards, getting people that have navigated that same territory that you want to navigate around you. And I listened to a podcast recently with a guy who I really respect called Robin Sharma. He's written several books called The Monk and His Ferrari, The 5 a.m. Club. There's a whole lot. He's really cool. And he was recently interviewed on the High Performance podcast out of the UK, and he talks about how he likes to have his own personal advisory board, which are 5 people, living or dead, that would be able to advise him on things. I was like, oh, I love that. And
What do you mean living or dead?
yeah, so that was the lens.
How is taking advice from dead people?
He gets out the Ouija board and say,
I'm like, he's got weird spooky and I love it.
weekly sessions with a medium. No, I jest. What he does is he basically creates like a mood board of those people that are no longer alive. So for me, it would be someone like Anita Roddick, who founded The Body Shop. She's someone who I really admire. And I know a bit about her approach to life and her ethos and what she was motivated by. And so you think through how that person might advise you. This is where my brain goes. I'm like, let's just plug that into ChatGPT and be like, if you were Anita Roddick right now giving me advice, what would you say? And so I think there's an opportunity to actually leverage AI to bring our dead advisory board to the table to actually coach us.
That is such an interesting perspective, is how would this person advise you? Especially like your role models or like people you idolize. That is so interesting.
Yeah, that's what I'm all about. So I've learned.
I feel mind blown. I'm like, whoa.
Kayla's
I'm like, what would Oprah tell me to do right now? Anyway, sorry, what have you learned?
that approach, that whole approach. I hadn't considered that I could create an advisory board of people that maybe have passed away or they're famous, they're not people I can connect with, and then bring their perspective to the table. And so that was my big like, whoa, what a cool concept. I'm implementing that. So that was my big learning. I was like, yeah, very cool. And so what about you, Caleb? What have you learned this year?
I've learned just appreciation for, I'm going to say behind the scenes work and looking for the end goal, not just what you're doing in the moment. I think working towards a goal rather than working in the moment is what I've learned and how important that is.
So do you mean like the hard slog that is feels like it's the unrewarding stuff? It's the showing up for yourself every day. It's the discipline of doing things.
And then getting to look back and seeing that all pay off.
Oh, that's so cool.
Yeah.
How's that shown up for you? Like, have you ever got an example?
I think in drag, that's an interesting example, is seeing the years or the steps it takes to actually get into drag versus what people see. They see the fully finished in drag performing, but they don't see the behind the scenes, learning the script, learning the jokes, learning your choreography and all that stuff. But yeah, but it's anything in life.
It's very deep philosophical
I know.
thoughts.
I need Jill here.
Yeah, you do need Jill. Caleb and Jill, where was it? North Canterbury Wine and Food.
No, we went in the spa.
Yeah, but it was after that.
Oh, yes, yeah.
Yeah, me, Caleb, and my lovely friend Jill ended up sitting in the spa, the three of us having deep and meaningfuls. And because Jill's deeply experienced in NLP and subconscious beliefs, and she just has a really beautiful view of the world and people. And her and Caleb ended up having quite a really supportive and challenging at the same time conversation around your approach to career and drag. And it was just a really big, wholesome conversation.
Yeah.
So now in your mind, you're like, I need some counsel from Jill on this.
I do. I need Jill in my life always. Jill, if you're listening, message me.
Hit me up, Jill.
Yeah. What about you, Kels? What have you been learning?
Kels is like, please, for the love of God, can I change the topic?
I'm just like, I'm listening to you two go. And I'm like, honestly, I haven't even had a chance to like stop, look back and reflect. Like, I don't know what I learned. I was hoping like coming into this that I was going to let you two go first, and then something was just going to come out of my mouth, which is generally how I like to work. But I don't know. I feel like I haven't necessarily learnt something big or specific, but I feel like I have started a new chapter. Like I've moved to a new version of me slightly.
Oh, I love
Does that make sense?
Yeah, I do.
Like it's not like I almost feel like even in the last like 3 months, I feel like I've just woken up and have just started a new version of me.
If your life was a book, what would this chapter be called?
Great question.
Do you know what? And it's so weird because I have a monthly catch up with a leadership coach. So I have like you talking about your advisory board. I've got a live one. I've got Jono, and he just hits me with things every now and then when I'm like, oh God, Jono, that hurt. that one was spicy. He says to me, at some point you have to look at your life and go, am I writing my own story or am I reading the story that someone else has written for me? And it feels like that change, like that wake up, is that I finally switched into a place where I've suddenly taken the pen over, I think is probably what I was trying to get to before. So I think this chapter is get the fuck out of my way.
Give me the pen, bitch.
Give me the pen, bitch. Yeah.
This is my story.
Yeah, that's what this chapter of my life is called. I think it feels like my brain has sort of caught up to all of these concepts and things that I've learnt and been taught by people like Melissa and Jono and all of these, all these humans around me.
All the old people.
Sorry?
All the old people.
I was going to say the more experienced, but yeah.
That's a polite way of saying it.
Yeah, but I think there's, Melissa and I read a lot of stuff. We listen to a lot of stuff. We take on a lot of different things. But it feels like, I've just gone, give me that fucking pen, bitch. I'm about to write my own shit.
It's almost like you've finished the integration of all of those learnings. Yeah. And now you're like, oh, I've up-leveled. I'm Kels 2.0. Like,
and things that used to worry me or things I used to really care about, I'm just like, eh. And I'm like, it could also be the healthy brain meds that I'm on, but like also that is also one of those steps to getting to that place and making sure that I have the right level of dopamine and my synapses are working properly as they are supposed to is a key fundamental part of that as well. So I think, my chapter is going to be called Give Me That Pen, Bitch. Yeah, I like that. Thank you.
That's awesome.
That's a good question. What about you?
That's a great question. I was too busy listening to you talk and being engaged that I have not considered for a second.
Okay, Caleb, what's yours?
Caleb, what's yours?
I think my chapter is currently self-discovery. I know.
This is lovely.
I know. Interesting. This is like a family catch-up for us.
This is like deep and meaningful.
I feel like we need some incense burning.
To be fair, I did burn incense before you came around.
I saw it when I came in. It was lovely.
Yeah, it's really nice sandalwood. So good.
I think because currently not employed, it's given me a lot of time to think and not question my life. But
the eye roll that went with that was amazing.
Not question my life, but what do I want to do with my life? Before, my broad was just customer service. That's what I want to do. But then I realized I can take that so many places, like flight attending. There are so many ways I can go from there. Or if you do want to do retail, that's pretty straightforward, but you can build up in that retail. And so mine is currently self-discovery, what I'm learning, what I like, what I don't like. Yeah.
How old are you?
19.
Oh my God.
19 going on 50. That is so
I was
profound.
Say, I didn't get there until the end of my 20s. Even just in my early 30s. That's fantastic. Yeah. Reflecting back on me at your age, I was like, it's this one pathway and that's the thing that I must do. And I was told for my life that this was the thing. And it's so lovely to hear you go, I can do fucking whatever.
Yeah.
And taking the time to figure it out.
And taking the time to figure out the purpose of it as well, I think is beautiful. Yeah. Well done.
I think you and going back to Jill, we love Jill. You and Jill, when we were in the spa.
We need to get Jill on this.
We do. Oh, that'd be
a quad pod with Jill.
Yeah. But you guys said to me that at my age, it's crazy I've already done one career in drag. And that has made me, that's one of my laying in bed thoughts. I'm like, wow.
Yeah, I've already done something pretty epic.
Yeah. And that just makes me think that I can actually do something brand new if I want to. I can stay in
You're
the same
going to do
path.
at least 5 more wonderful careers. Like,
Yeah, and so that's what I'm currently thinking about. That's my self-discovery chapter.
I love it.
How about you, Melissa?
Oh, that's so cute. I just, my side note to that is that there's quite a theme with the two of you talking about staying open to possibility, learning about yourselves, and then how you integrate that and apply that. And I think that's something that people who want to have a happy life keep. That's a practice, and it's a practice that's consistent in their lives.
It's a hard thing as well.
It
I
is.
think, yeah.
It's that self-examination, challenging yourself, looking for ways of growing.
Yeah.
I think it's such a healthy way to be, just questioning, why do I think this? Does this still make sense right now?
Yeah.
I love that. I think whether you're 16 or 60, being someone who's really committed to growing and evolving is so epic. I really respect that. It's super cool.
I could not have got to this point without what you're doing.
Yeah.
Like, I think that is such a fundamental part of moving through life, is to be able to ebb and flow with that.
It's one of the most challenging as well, I think, is always self-discovery and actually being able to critique and criticize what you're doing.
And know what's for you and know what's not for you while you're taking in that information as well.
And that can come in like different ways. Like you may do a job that you realize isn't for you that you thought could be. Yeah.
Yeah.
Such a big part of it, that ability to jump into things and be like, now I know what's not for me.
Yeah. Open mind.
Yeah. But giving it a go. Like, you can't have an open mind and sit on the couch and think you might not like
Just be
it.
like, no.
You've actually got to jump in, get your hands dirty and be like, oh, actually not this. I thought this, but actually no.
Yeah.
And I think like that is such a key fundamental learning that I've had to learn. I've had all of the thoughts and all of the different things, and it's only until you take action do you actually get a full understanding of what the outcome might be.
Yeah.
Anyway, we keep skipping over what yours is.
Because I'm still trying to think of it. Where I kind of landed was it's borrowed from a song title, and it's LFG, Let's Fucking Go. And that's by a singer called Nate Smith, who Carlos and I saw at CMC Rocks
Oh my
earlier
God,
this year.
and you met?
And I met him at the airport in Nashville, and
He's so cute.
He's so cute. And I like that moment. I don't normally get a buzz about celebrities. Like, I'm not normally like, oh my God, this person, whatever. And Mum and I were at the Nashville airport. I'd been so looking forward to going to Nashville, and I was kind of bummed that Nashville wasn't as music focused as I'd hoped. It was a bit
party
more
focused.
Yeah, it was a bit more OTT stick on rhinestones than
But Hillbilly Vegas.
yeah. So I was a bit like, it's been cool. I'm glad I came. I really loved going to see a show at the Grand Ole Opry. That was amazing.
God, I'm so jealous.
That was epic. And then Mum and I were at the airport about to fly out to Memphis, and the crowds were pretty busy. And so we just wandered towards our gate to get a coffee, and there was this like tiny little coffee kiosk. And so I ordered my coffee, and I'm waiting, and I turn back around, and there's 3 guys in the queue ordering coffee, and I'm like, that is fucking Nate Smith. And Mum's like, who? And I'm like, he is so lovely. And his whole story, like he's a real, Phoenix from the ashes kind of story, which I won't go into. Otherwise, this will be an hour-long podcast about Nate Smith.
Too long, didn't read, was a nurse, tried to do music, failed, lost all his money, had to go back, and then suddenly made it.
Had a house fire and lost everything.
That's right.
The
Yep.
GoFundMe.
He's honestly had like the most insane life, but I love that he is also like a nurse.
He is so lovely, and he's so lovely, and he's so humble and so grateful. And we saw that firsthand at CMC. And so to see him standing like right in front of me, I was like, this guy deserves everything. He is such a good human. And Mum goes, go say hi, get a photo. And I was like, already on my way. And so I went over and introduced myself and said, hey, sorry, you're Nate Smith. I'm sorry to interrupt. Would you have time for a photo, a quick chat? He chatted away for ages. And I was like, I said to him, I got like all mother hen, and I was like, I'm really proud of you, and I think you deserve to be famous because you've worked so hard for this, and it's really inspiring.
I'm going to cry.
And I love your music, and I think it's amazing, and I really love the joy that you bring when you perform. And he just leans over and gives me this big hug. And he's like, oh my God, thank you so much. And I was like, now please come to New Zealand. And then he leans over to Mum and goes, hi, I'm Nate. And shakes her hand. And Mum's like, I'm Heather. That night, we're sitting in the hotel room like, what are you doing, Mum? She's like, Googling Nate Smith. He is the nicest man. Yeah. So he sings a song called LFG, short for Let's Fucking Go.
Yeah.
That's kind of how I feel. I kind of feel like I want to get the fuck out of my own way and stop stop being afraid of what the next level starts to look like. I feel really open for some really big challenges. And coming back from traveling, I was like, I'm ready for a year overseas. I'm ready for a big serious win. Like, I'm ready to take on the big stuff now.
That's awesome.
Yeah, so now I'm just going to hear Nate Smith going LFG in the background. So look it up.
So, what are our tweets or TikToks for today? So, my tweet is start living your best life. You can't change people. You can change your expectations. You can set boundaries and make decisions about how much time and effort you give, which is from Positive Cool.
Yeah, I like that. Yeah, I love that.
Yeah. How about you guys?
Mine's super weird that I had chosen this before the podcast tangents we went on occurred because it's really apt. Mine is from Vela Afshar, and it's he's tweeting a quote from Benjamin Franklin, and the quote is, many people die at 25 and are not buried until they're 75. But it's so true. Like, people just shut themselves down and stay small and don't live. And the conversation we've just had is all about how to not do that. So, live every day.
Or that one, I don't know, that one. Ugh.
What have you got, Kels?
That one made me feel gross. I didn't like it.
Okay, well, we'll mute Ben and give us a TikTok.
I'm just going to lighten this up a little bit.
From now on, I identify as the weather because I could also be nicer most days. It's rare that I have more than 2 good days in a week. And while I do seem to be getting the slightest bit hotter every year, I'm also becoming significantly more unstable to the point that it's been described as a crisis. Thank y'all.
I love that guy.
Yeah.
What's his name?
His name is Josh Zillerberg.
He's so good.
Thanks for that, Josh.
Great.
Love that.
Yeah. And I'm like, I do identify as that. I identify as whatever I fucking want because I've got the pen, bitch.
Period. I love that.
Anyway, sorry.
Yeah, so take from this what you need. Yeah. So get out there and either, become more unstable, do a bit of self-reflection, take the pen, and let's fucking go.